Hello, everybody. Sure hope this is working because I'm pretty sure I messed it up big time. Well, we shall see. I am going to try to see if I can get the video to work the way that it should so that Meg actually makes some money off of this and I don't waste all of her time that she put into this video right before she went to the hospital. So bear with me a minute while I figure it out. We're going to click and see what happens. Wait for it. While you're live. Okay. Now, let's see if we can take it to the next step. Oh yeah, no, that did not work. Okay, bear with me, peeps. I'm gonna do it a different way. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Hold on.
All right, my friends.
Oh, okay. We got the video up. Can you all hear me? Please tell me if you can you hear me? I can see comments. But I'm not sure if that means that everybody can hear me. I got the video up. Still not 100% sure I did that right. Okay. Well, let's just see what we can do here. I'm going to start. Yay! I can thank you for that. I love that everybody's telling me that they can hear me. We're going to add this little ticker to the bottom here. I am eventually, by the time this is done, going to figure out how to pin a link at the top. And we'll see where it goes. Okay, so this is a video. I'm sure she's going to love that I have it paused with her eyes closed. But this is a video that Meg worked on literally right before she went into the hospital. Some of you may have seen that she had to have emergency surgery on Friday. She is not feeling too hot. And of course, the way the YouTube algorithm works, you have to contribute in order to make money. And unfortunately, because Meg's been out for several days, it's just not working out right now. So that was embarrassing. I'm going to start this video and work on some other things in the background to see if I can't make it profitable for her. But in the meantime, if anybody is able to join a membership or give a super chat or super sticker, that would be greatly appreciated. Meg also has a Buy Me a Coffee account, which pays a little better than YouTube, I think. So if you don't mind helping with that, that would be wonderful too. Okay, sorry, I'm done blabbering. I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this. You won't see me for a second while I figure out some things, but I wanted to at least get it started so we can get it going. Okay, so I'm going to hit play, and I do need somebody to tell me if they can hear the video when I hit play.
All right, my friends, you asked for a deep dive, and it's deep, like Mariana Trench deep. And it's blazing, like the whole landfill up in flames. But let's do this.
I'm Commissioner Joe Kestis. We're here in the matter of Clayton Eckhart. Am I saying that right now? Eckert, sorry, versus Laura Owens. This is DB 20230533952. We'll begin by having everyone state their name. Mr. Eckert, if you can state your name for me.
Clayton Eckert.
Right, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Joshua Lopez representing Laura Owens, who's present via Microsoft Teams.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. If you can state your name for me.
Laura Owens.
All right, thank you. We're here today regarding the pre-issuance hearing on a petition for an injunction against harassment that was filed by Mr. Eckhart.
Clayton filed his petition for an injunction against harassment on September 26th of 2023. This hearing is actually happening in October. So a lot of stuff went on before that. So we need to jump back a little bit and take a look at the backstory. We're going to go back to April 3rd of 2023, when former Bachelor contestant Clayton Eckhart put an announcement on Insta that he was going to be a real estate agent in the Phoenix Scottsdale market. Looking forward to this new chapter of my life and bringing back the turtleneck. Woohoo! Visions of my childhood. I mean, a turtleneck, leg warmers, and a puffy painted shirt? Like, how 90s can you get? Not long after that, he was contacted by Laura Owens, whose claim to fame is the fact that her father runs a talk show on San Francisco radio, I believe it is. She has her own podcast with her mother. I'm not really sure what it is or what it's about. I didn't really have the desire to look into it. But they met. She contacted him. It's unclear how she learned about his real estate activities, if she had been following him since he was a bachelor, or if, she just happened to stumble across this Insta post. We won't speculate on that. Use your imagination. But according to an affidavit that was filed by her attorney, this is the summary of what happened. She resides in Scottsdale with her parents, which is the same area that Clayton lives in. And she first met him in May when she contacted him about purchasing some real estate investment properties. She said she contacted him via LinkedIn. Very professional. In addition to discussing real estate, Clayton and I flirted with each other, and I believed that he was interested in me either romantically or physically, and that feeling was mutual. Well, I hate to break it to her, but that flirty thing that she thought was like so special, yeah, that's what salesmen do. That's what makes them a good salesman. They make you feel like all special, and that way, you buy stuff. On May 20th, 2023, in addition to exchanging some flirty text messages, Clayton invited me over to his house in Scottsdale, which I did shortly after arriving. I took a THC gummy. Clayton took one too. They had a little, encounter that went pretty far, but not all the way. He accidentally slipped it in for a second, but, she told him to stop. And he did. And, even though that meets the definition of assault, she's not going to charge him with that. She doesn't want him charged, but, it does meet the definition. Yeah. After the session on the couch, they went to the bed, slept for a while, then did the same thing again. She wanted to make sure that everybody knew that she swallowed. She wasn't trying to trap him. She didn't have a turkey baster in her purse. Oh, maybe she did. She didn't specifically say that. I just interjected that. Maybe she did. We don't know. That's yet to be determined. A few days later, she and Clayton viewed some properties. She asked him to put in several offers. She showed him proof she had the funds, where she had $450,000 cash in her checking account, which she showed him a money market checking.
I'm going to stop for a second just so that y'all know I am here. I didn't just jump on this and abandon everybody. But also, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but I deal with this. As you guys know, I do title insurance and real estate stuff for my job. And what stood out to me, this type of, we call it a proof of funds, a POF, is not uncommon. It is interesting to me, though, that we're not seeing all of it. We're not seeing the account holder's name. So if this is exactly what they gave, it's not really a great proof of funds. But if it's just cut off for the purposes of this affidavit, then it works, I guess. I think it's very interesting, though. I think Laura's exaggerating her funds availability, but that's my personal opinion, and it is not Meg's. I'm just saying so. Okay, so I am going to go off camera again, and I'm not going to keep interrupting because I do want to eat dinner tonight, and I want to get this done for Meg. And I'm really pretty sure I'm messing up the monetization part, but let's see what we can do about that. Thank you guys for hanging, and I'll be right back.
Bank statement 4. According to Clayton, during this time, he had suggested maybe she wanted to find another realtor, and he expressed to her that that was a one-time thing, that they had a professional relationship and it was going to stay professional from this point forward, that it was a lapse in judgment type of thing. Yeah, sorry, I was high. I think we've all been there in one way, shape, or form. This next bit of information comes from a police report that Laura filed with the Scottsdale Police Department while she was out of town, based on the harassment she was receiving from Clayton online. On 7/31/23, a Scottsdale police report indicates that Laura Owens called in. She said she was currently out of town. She is pregnant with twins by her ex, Clayton Eckert. And recently he had been sending her text messages that she found concerning. He had expressed his disbelief that she was pregnant and had threatened to file fraud charges against her. He had talked about his hatred for her. He also wants her to provide him with contact information for her previous boyfriend. She told me her previous boyfriend tried to kill her. He lives in San Francisco. She did a TED Talk about her previous relationship and finds it concerning that Clayton wants to contact him now. Why do you need to tell the cops you did a TED Talk? And none of that, I mean, unless you can say that, show where he said, I'm going to kill you. Like, threatening fraud charges is not sufficient for a restraining order usually. She has asked Clayton to tell her that she's safe, but he refuses to. So quit talking to him. As the cop says, I suggested she block his number and apply for a protective order. She declined to do either, saying she wants to know what he's thinking. Okay, well, that's dumb. She asked that our conversation be documented. I provided her with a number. She sent me copies. Oh, jeez. And then here's the email she sent. Thank you for taking my report today. I'm attaching his threats, hateful messages, and extortion threats, as well as all of the pregnancy evidence he was provided and has tried to dispel. Like, why on earth are you sending the cops information about your pregnancy? Nobody cares. So text from Clayton. So she copy and pasted his text out of the text format so you couldn't see what she was saying to cause him to say this. Like, really? You're trying to destroy my mental state. I legitimately hate you right now. You made my life so stressful since I've known you, and if you decide not to take Plan B, and in the wild event that you are pregnant, I would hate you even more. She noted, I obviously was pregnant. My hatred will only grow if you decide to put me through all of this. My animosity would last for a lifetime, and that's not something either of us want to subject ourselves to. Like, none of this is threat.
I don't know what Meg's about to say, but she wasn't joking when she said this could last a lifetime. I don't think I've seen this before. That's hilarious. Okay, sorry.
I don't know where. I really hate to tell her, but saying that he hates you, it's not, that's not grounds for a protective order. I mean, you can hate whoever you want to hate. There's nothing wrong with that. I love this. My personal hell would be having you as part of my life. But wait, there's more. She also included this letter. Clayton Eckert is the father of my unborn twins. When I told him I was pregnant, he started writing erratic, illogical, and threatening messages. He has been clear that being a father has not been in his life plans and would get in the way of his dating and professional life. And yeah, that does happen. Blah, 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 blah. Clayton has said he would file legal charges, criminal fraud against me for stating that he is the father of my unborn twins. Extortion is a crime under ARS 13-1804. OMG. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I know how to read a statute. And Arizona Revised Statutes, Title 13 Criminal Code 13-1804, says theft by extortion is when a person commits theft by extortion by knowingly obtaining or seeking to obtain property or services by means of a threat to do in the future any of the following: cause physical injury to anyone by means of a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, or cause death or serious physical injury to anyone, cause physical injury to anyone except as provided in paragraph 1 of the subsection, cause damage to property, engage in other conduct constituting an offense, accuse anyone of a crime or bring criminal charges against anyone, expose a secret or an asserted fact, whether true or false, tending to subject anyone to hatred, contempt, ridicule, and or impair the person's credit or business. Huh. Interesting. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. Not trying to, give anyone legal advice, but I'm pretty sure that by threatening to have babies if he doesn't date her, that kind of seems like it would fall under the definition of extortion, doesn't it? That would kind of be a service that you're trying to get from him. You want him to do something for you, and if he doesn't, you're going to do this bad thing to him. I mean, it's kind of close. Closer than what she says. She went on to talk about her TEDx talk again. That must have been the highlight of her life. And then she said, I am very concerned about my safety. Like, the guy that keeps blocking you and asking you never to contact him again, you're concerned about your safety? Like, he wants nothing to do with you and you're concerned about your safety? Make that make sense for me, because I don't understand it. I really don't. The next day after the police report was filed, Miss Owens went down to the Maricopa County Courthouse, or whatever courthouse was near her, and filed a parenting plan. Now, her attorney has said that's nothing. It's just a form that the court makes you fill out, just paperwork. However, it's my understanding, my non-legal, I didn't pass the bar, but I know a little bit, enough that you own a legal, never mind, that a parenting plan is in place to establish custody, to establish time sharing, decision making, which is why the 2 unborn children are listed, and there's an option for physical custody and who will get them when, and biweekly is listed. They'll exchange them at 4 o'clock. I mean, that's reasonable, right? 4 o'clock. It goes through and it talks about who gets what holiday. Why would the court make you do such a thing? If it was unnecessary and she wasn't planning on keeping the pregnancy. After filing a parenting plan, 23 days later, Laura filed a motion for contempt. Apparently, Clayton was refusing to talk to her. After several more emails and attempts at communication via phone and text message, she submitted a motion to communicate on August 8th. The respondent has failed to participate in good faith consultation and is a violation of ARS Rules 76.2A4. She goes on to say that he will only meet with her in a public place, and since there is no order of protection, that's not necessary. She also notes that Clayton filed a response to the petition to establish paternity, saying, "I'm concerned that she's stalking me." Yeah, I'd be concerned too at this point. Boy, like, you can't have it both ways. You can't, like, get mad that he is talking to you and then get mad that he's not talking to you. Like, what do you want? Drama? Oh, you want drama? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. In her request to communicate, she notes that since filing this motion, the petitioner has made almost daily efforts to contact the respondent, who has refused to participate in good faith consultations required. Yeah, that's why he thinks you're stalking him. She also notes that she suffers from epilepsy, which causes grand mal seizures and has caused the pregnancy to be labeled high risk, as evidenced by the fact the patient was referred to a high-risk specialist from the start. I wonder who gave that referral. Since she doesn't have an established primary care. Interesting. Next came the petitioner's expedited motion to seal the court record. It was expedited due to the New York Post and Page 6 expressing interest in the case. We're not even to the first court hearing yet, and a second police report has been filed. It alleges that there was a violation of an order of protection against the defendant, which is Clayton. The victim, Laura, stated that Eckerd posted a video on, I think it was Instagram, it doesn't say on here, that he stated in the video, "Let's go, baby. I knew this was going to happen. Thankfully, 5 months of torture can finally be put to rest." What was the video about? The DNA test that they took showed no fetal DNA present. Clayton took that like he should, meaning she's not really pregnant. She freaked out, saying it was just a mistake in the test. So she filed a protective order to keep him from being able to post things online. She feels that him posting that she wasn't really pregnant and he can finally have his life back from her harassment is harassment against her. Interesting. In hindsight, of course. On 10/18, Clayton responded, and he said that he would like to quash the order of protection, that it's baseless in nature. I have not threatened the plaintiff, and I am the victim in this situation. The plaintiff is the aggressor. I have blocked the plaintiff via email and 13 different phone numbers that she has created to get in contact with me. At this point, he doesn't have an attorney, but he will get one soon. Commissioner Duty granted the order of protection. However, the remaining motions, the motion for contempt to communicate, motion to seal, were all denied. So finally, October 24th, we have a hearing.
We do have a number of exhibits. And so if you would like to use an exhibit or admit an exhibit, then you do need to lay some, what I'm going to call foundation for that exhibit, which means you need to tell the court what the exhibit is, if there's a specific date and time that relates to that exhibit, how you have knowledge of the exhibit, and how it's relevant to what we're doing. And then you need to actually move to admit the exhibits. Want to present an exhibit, you have to once you've laid that foundation, you have to actually move to the court to ask to admit the exhibit. Just because you submitted them doesn't mean they come into evidence unless you move to admit those. Okay? And then you'll have the opportunity. So, Record, you're going to go first because you're the plaintiff. You'll present your case and your testimony, and then the other side counsel will have the opportunity to question you, and then they can call witnesses, and you'll have an opportunity to question them. And then at the end, everyone will have an opportunity to make a closing argument. Okay? The things that people can testify about, you do need to make sure that they are related to something that you have personal knowledge of. So you can't just say, I saw something on the internet, and so now I can testify about it. Okay, it does need to be something that you have some personal knowledge about. And I know that this case also has a family court matter. This is not the family court case. This is not the trial on the family court issues. So I need everyone to focus on the issues that we have for this hearing. So we're not deciding pregnancy issues, we're not deciding paternity issues. Those are not the issues that are going to be decided today. So what this court is looking for is a determination as to whether or not there were a series of events that were aimed at a particular person that would cause a reasonable person to be annoyed, alarmed, or harassed, that person was in fact alarmed, annoyed, or harassed, and that those actions had no legitimate purpose. Those are the findings that the court is looking to make. So, Record, for you, you're trying to show by preponderance of the evidence that that was the case. And then, obviously, Ms. Owens is going to be trying to show that there is not a basis for the injunction. So the things that are outlined in the petition are the things that can be discussed or addressed. Okay? But as I said, we're not discussing whether or not officially that there's a pregnancy or whether or not officially there is a paternity issue. Okay? So we need to make sure that we are keeping on track with what we want to show in our case. And so the series of events does need to be more than one, but it can be over any period of time. So those are the things that we're looking for. Does anyone have any questions about what I've just gone over?
Your Honor, I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Did you want to hear opening statements?
I mean, I would allow people to do an opening if you wanted to, or you can waive openings either way.
Okay. And my other question is that what I believe that Mr. Eckert is going to present are emails regarding alleged harassment in this matter. But the emails, and I know you had indicated that, and I understand this is not the family law, the family court case, but the emails and the alleged harassment have a lot to do with paternity and things of that matter. So I think that those things are going to come out despite this not being us trying to prove paternity and things like that. I think the content of the emails has to do with that, and so those things will come out.
And I understand as they relate to the specific basis for the communication,
Okay.
that they can be brought out. I just don't want the parties to think that I'm going to be making any determinations as it relates to those other issues.
Thank you.
So do either party wish to make an opening statement? Or we can just begin with the testimony.
Present my evidence. Your Honor, I'd like to make an opening statement.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, you're going to hear that back in May of 2023, Laura Owens and Clayton Eckert became intimate, which led to my client becoming pregnant with twins. And since May of 2023, Clayton has refused to believe that my client became pregnant. He's refused to believe that he's the father of these unborn children. And he has refused to work with my client to create a plan on how and if he wants to be a part of these future children's lives. Instead, Clayton turned to the internet He's turned to his fans, he's turned to his followers, and he's spread rumors and lies about my client. Clayton has insinuated that my client lied about being pregnant. Clayton posted online about legal issues he knew little about regarding my client, Laura Owens, and a legal battle that she was involved with and is still involved with another individual. Clayton has posted about Laura that has led to harassment by his fans and followers. Laura has received harassing messages. Laura was asked to, and Laura has been staying inside to protect herself, which is why she's currently appearing via Microsoft Teams for this particular proceeding. And again, this all stems from Mr. Eckerd's post online. All communication from Laura to Clayton during these time periods that Mr. Eckerd put in his petition has been related to Laura's pregnancy with Mr. Eckerd's unborn children. It's also been related to what Mr. Eckerd would like to do moving forward with the unborn children, creating a parenting plan, and actually it's also in regard to potentially him taking down posts, which again led to harassment by his fans and followers. None of the communication that Laura directed at Clayton was for harassment purposes. All the communication was for legitimate purposes, and a reasonable person in those same circumstances would not be seriously alarmed, annoyed, or harassed by that communication. And at the end of this hearing, we're going to request that the injunction against harassment be dismissed or not issued. Thank you.
So for testimony purposes, Mr. Eckerd, I'm assuming you're going to be testifying, and then Ms. Owens, I'm assuming, is testifying, counsel.
Ms. Owens will be testifying, Your Honor.
So if I can have you both raise your right hands, you can be sworn in for me.
Promise swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
You? Okay. All right. Mr. Eckerd, if you want to go ahead and begin with your presentation of your testimony.
Thank you. I think it is important to just provide a little bit of context over that opening statement. It is what he had stated. I do not believe that Laura is pregnant. I know we're not here to discuss that today, but because of the evidence I will present, I'll explain why I've been receiving unwanted messages for the last 5 months, and I have blocked this individual from all communication, yet they continue to send me messages. And I have asked this individual to early on do a paternity test, and she said she would not do it unless I were to date her exclusively. And so then Ms. Owens threatened to go public, which I have submitted that evidence today. But my reasoning for why I doubt her and why I have chosen to cut off all communication is because if I can submit Exhibit 32.
And what is Exhibit 32?
So Exhibit 32 is an ultrasound image that I was sent via email by Laura. No ultrasound report was provided, and when I asked to speak with a doctor, she would not allow me to talk to that doctor. We also did an early resolution conference. It was in the last couple of weeks. The mediator asked for her to make that phone call to that facility to prove that she did have do this ultrasound. She did not do it. She was not willing to make that phone call. And so with that picture and that picture alone, I believe it is photoshopped, and there is no report that she has been able to provide. And I've asked for it, and I would like a doctor to be able to stand behind that image, as I believe it's a fraudulent medical record that she has submitted to me via email.
Okay. Are you moving to admit Exhibit 32?
I would like to admit, yes, Exhibit 32.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. If I'm not mistaken, Exhibit 32, double check.
This is the ultrasound he's referencing, and there are so many things wrong with this. But you can go over to Dave or Megan's channel, and they do a deep dive into the ultrasounds. For our purposes, let's just look at the basic things, like the fact that it doesn't even look like a real ultrasound because it's just this big blob there, and that's not what ultrasounds look like at all. At the bottom where it says 6 weeks and 6 or 8 days and the date of conception, I have never seen a date of conception printed on a medical record like that before, other than in the date of conception field. They put also that 6 weeks. If you put in her date of conception and you calculate it, that would put her in week 9 based on the date up at the top. Not 6, week 9. Interesting.
Submitted?
Thank you. May I continue?
Okay.
I would also like to admit Exhibit 36, the flash drive.
Before we get too much further, if you can just explain to me what you believe your relationship is or was with Miss Owens, because part of the reason it's an injunction is because of the relationship nature of it. I think that you listed as being not an intimate relationship. So I guess maybe if you can clarify that for me.
Yes, Your Honor. Laura and I had engaged in oral sex one time. And to me, as I filed this, I did not believe that constituted a relationship of any kind, as it was a one-time thing.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Exhibit 36, I would like to admit that as well. This is a flash drive file. This was also sent to me by Laura Owens via email. She, in this email, which I actually have, can I submit multiples at one time or no? Or reference them at least for now?
Okay.
So Exhibit 18 is a screenshot of the email that she had sent me with this ultrasound video that she claimed was, you can see on there, I don't know, 1,000,000% real ultrasound video. She's claiming that that was the ultrasound of our children. But then I uncovered the Exhibit 34. This is a YouTube video from over 6 years ago. And that video has the video that she sent me within it. And so Exhibit 36 is the video that she sent me and then the video on YouTube. And as you play both of them out, you can see that they are identical videos. She had cut a portion from the YouTube video and claimed it to be her own when it was somebody else's. And so I would like to, I'd like to admit at least Exhibit 36, but also 34 and 18 to prove that she did in fact send this to me via email, and as 18 and 34 show, but also then to admit 36 because that is the visual proof that these videos are identical.
What he said yesterday.
Let me make this short and simple. Update time. This individual that was supposed to submit a sample, their second sample, after the first sample came out and said little to no fetal DNA, they were supposed to submit a second sample yesterday. It was confirmed they never showed up and submitted a sample. Wanted to put that out there so everyone's aware. They never showed up. Beyond that, I found out this morning, this individual sent me an email last week and showed me the ultrasound video. I already had my suspicions because, again, I already knew that this was not real. And this morning I found the YouTube video that this woman ripped the video from. So she took the ultrasound from a YouTube clip from 6 years ago. That is also confirmed. I put them side by side. They are the exact same video. This is the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. I just ask that people cover the truth at this point. I've lost out. I just got a call this morning. I lost out on another speaking engagement. I've lost out on tens of thousands of dollars. So hopefully the truth will now get out and save me.
Right here. Twin boy gender at 13 weeks. He claims that this information was taken from her. Now look, two different sonograms side by side. Who are we to say which is which? So that one, baby B, baby A, as shown here, is 3 minutes long. The sonogram we have from Jane Doe right here is 38 seconds long. What is problematic about this sonogram, and again, we're going to show that she denies that this is from her, and she believes that this sonogram was created by one of her exes who is vindictive and out to get her. I'm going to show you the paper trail that proves probably that she is not telling the truth there. So, I added the music. Okay, this is music that I added. What you're seeing here is the start of the video on the left that says twin gender seen at 13 weeks. That's the left and that's the right. So what I did right here in this moment is I synced them up perfectly. And you might say, how could you sync them up perfectly? I am going to overlap them on top of each other so you see that it is one cohesive heartbeat. This might sound redundant, folks, but I don't want there to be a shadow of a doubt that I didn't do my research here. So here they are. And this says sync begins. Let's put it to fit it right here. So this is where the sync begins. I will label where the sync ends. We're watching it. It ends right now. Oh, excuse me. You see the placenta on both sides hits at the same exact second, and that's where the sync begins, and the sync ends right here. Now, the video on the left shows that baby B is there and points out, and now it syncs again. So she edited out this part right here. She edited out, I don't know why, but she edited out baby B. Maybe because there's the little mouse code there. Maybe she didn't want that involved. And again, I say she, it could have been someone else. Again, it might not be Jane Doe. We're going to get into that. So the sync ends. The sync comes back, baby A on both sides perfectly. And now it's synced. And now baby B comes back. I mean, I got this down to the frame that has it exactly the same.
Any objection to 18?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't think there's enough foundation for the different things that Mr. Eckert is stating. It sounds like something was sent to him, and I don't know what websites that he's going to get these. And the things that he's claiming in here, he's saying that these are identical. I don't know if he can testify that these are, in fact, identical.
Okay. So 18 appears to be kind of a screenshot of almost similar to 32, but I think it's closer to matches 34. But I think 18 is the one that actually was sent to him. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So do you have a specific objection to 18? Or objection?
If that's what was
to more related.
Yeah. Wait, 17, 18.
18, I think, was the one that was sent to him. So do you have something specific about that exhibit?
Real quick. First of all, please somebody tell me if I messed up the video stream. I heard Dave talking and I was typing, and then all of a sudden we were back at the court hearing, and I don't know if that was on purpose or if I am so awkward in my chair right now. I think I might have hit something on my keyboard that made the video skip or go back, and I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody can tell me if they saw that happen too, I would appreciate it. Secondly, I brought up this comment because I don't think a lot of people know that there are so many ways you can help a YouTube channel without physically donating cash, money. And most of that stuff is super easy to do, like it, share it, turn on your notifications, and even, this is going to sound crazy, commenting during the live, making comments and tagging people, adding people, which you can do on your phone. It just doesn't look the same on your end. But if you do all of those things, they're totally free. And viewing, thank you, Formerly Fossil, viewing helps too. But yeah, again, there's quite a few things you can do if you can't directly donate. And I think that it's super amazing that so many people are donating. But what's equally awesome is that we've got a lot of participation in the chat, and we've got a lot of likes as well. So that's super great. Sorry, I see everything. Everybody's getting sick of me. So I'm going to go back to the video, but I just wanted to bring that up and mention it. Thank you.
I mean, maybe just some foundation regarding who. Ghana.
So, Mr. Kurt, if you can just outline for the court specifically the way that you received this.
Yes, I was sent this by Laura Owens. As you can see in the screenshot, this was sent from her.
What date?
The date of it was October 6th at 4:39 p.m.
Any objection to 18?
Yeah.
Or 18 will be admitted. And then 34, give me more information about when and where you received this document.
So Exhibit 34, I uncovered as I had questioned the validity of Exhibit 18, what she sent me. I did not believe that it was in her ultrasound. So I started to look online, and I found this YouTube video. And upon playing it, I found that the video that she had sent to me is within that YouTube video.
Okay. Objections to 34.
There you are.
34 will be admitted. And then objections to 36.
There you are.
Right, so 36 will be admitted. Record, if you want to continue.
Yes, I would like to. I would also like to discuss Exhibit 30. So Exhibit 30 entails a prior court case with this individual. And the reason why I bring it up is because of the repeated or similar patterns of behavior that Ms. Owens has exhibited. In this exhibit, there is an ultrasound in which she presented to this individual, and then it was found that through a reverse Google image search that she had taken that from online as well. In this case as well, she states that she became pregnant by this individual, and she also claims that she was became pregnant with twins after one sexual encounter. And so the parallels between my case and this individual's case, I think, is important to bring that to light and admit that as well, because this individual has displayed repeated patterns of behavior. And I think that's important to note as to why I question the validity of this individual's claims.
The different ways. And I think the biggest tell is her saying, I think all sonograms look the same.
Right.
I like
Yeah.
that part.
Absolutely. So
They
I
don't
guess
look the same. Don't.
let's set the table here. This is what's going to be the ultrasound image that's of question. This image has proven to have come from this blog, I Still Believe Vanishing, which is about a vanishing twin, which is essentially when one of a set of twins isn't viable, and rather than expel it, it gets absorbed. I believe I have that right. He calls her out on this. We're going to see how quickly he calls her out on this reverse image search. We're also going to see how these images are the same, but how they've been doctored. So it's my belief that she or somebody doctored this image. It's also got this extremely bizarre sort of like UFO-like crop circle happening here. So it's got this kind
That's
of
a blur dot. I'm sure that's a blur dot.
So what's interesting here, and by the way, there's also I never saw this. What what are we seeing here? What's this? HEVN? Is this are you seeing this? I'm
That's
literally,
yeah, that looks like a watermark.
what the hell's going on here?
What is
How did-
that? Wait
You know
a
what?
minute. Go back in.
I never noticed it, and now I can't see it. I can't unsee it. What the hell is that? VEN
That's a
NVEN.
watermark.
What weird.
That's a
Did she
watermark.
possibly alter this? Okay, hold on a second. I don't know, but could she have possibly altered this in one of those apps that she was using the free version of the?
Well,
of the thing is
Danielle
that-
says it says Fiverr.
Oh no! Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. This is why you do it live.
And where did you obtain this document?
I obtained this document from this court. I came in here, it's publicly accessible. So I came here and I searched it, and there's about 14 pages in this that I printed off. There's more in the court system, but I consolidated it to bring out the documents that referenced similar instances. And so this individual that she had brought this claim against also questioned if she was pregnant or not. It does state in here that she provided sonographic images, and then a reverse Google image search revealed the images were identical to a sonogram found on a blog post from 2015. And then within this document, it shows the pictures that were submitted to the court, the ultrasounds in question. And then I'd also like to bring to, in this document, in the picture, it says that she'd sent to him, it looks like you're going to be a dad to 1 or 2 babies. And so she again states that she was pregnant with twins with this individual.
Real quick, for anybody that doesn't know, Fiverr is kind of like please correct me if I'm wrong before I say this, but it's like an open source platform where you can go online and say, hey, I need this image to have certain information on top of it so that it looks like it's legitimate. And you want it done a little better than the ones that you can buy on Amazon, because that's a real thing. I went down that rabbit hole real fast. But so what they do is they have creators who are good with Photoshop and those types of programs. They edit the content, the image, and Fiverr puts a stamp on it until you've actually finalized your payment. That is my best understanding of how it works. So that's why it's incredibly important, because it shows that that image is manipulated. So that's it.
And then on one of the last pages of this document that I had pulled out, it was noted in this court case, the plaintiff reportedly fabricated a pregnancy and subsequent abortion in the past during a relationship with a Michael Maricini in 2016. I do not know the specifics of all of these cases, but I do want to bring this to light and submit it admit the exhibit because of the repeated patterns of behavior that I think are important to note, because contextually speaking, that is part of the reason why I will then present my evidence towards why I feel I'm harassed, because I do not believe what this individual is stating. I don't believe anything that she's saying, and these are the reasons why.
I'm going to object to this being entered. This is an ongoing case. We don't know what claims are or are not true within this exhibit. I don't think that it's appropriate, and I don't think that it's relevant to Mr. Eckert's petition in this specific matter.
So one of the allegations is a pattern of behavior of accusing men of getting pregnant in his petition. So I guess that's what he's presenting it for. So hang on, Ms. Owens, just a minute. I think that's one of the allegations in his petition, but
again, Your Honor, this is an ongoing case. We don't know what the results of this specific case regarding this exhibit is. We don't know anything about this case. We have it looks like this is some sort of complaint. It looks like it's a motion to dismiss, I'm sorry. Or there's several documents here. I don't think that this is relevant for this particular case. I think that this is speculation. These are claims that other people have made. I think this is hearsay. I don't think it's admissible for this type of hearing.
all right. So I'm not going to be able to admit Exhibit 30. I do agree that there's not, this is a complaint and a motion to dismiss, but whether or not there's significant information enough to be able to support that and whether you have any knowledge of it is I think, I'm not going to be able to admit that exhibit. Ms. Owens is raising her hand, but your attorney is here. So did you have a question?
No, he covered everything.
Okay. And he's going to be speaking on your behalf unless you're testifying. So
I would like to testify.
You don't have your chance to testify, but you can't testify in the middle of his testimony, and then your attorney needs to be the one that speaks on your behalf unless it's your testimony, okay?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Eckert, anything else?
Yes. Now I'd like to go in and admit each of these documents, and I have them set in an order. So the very first one, Exhibit 1, this is just showing all of the files that I have accrued. There's often 2 to 3 emails that she sends me a day. She started sending me emails, harassing emails on the 6th of June, and she is still sending me emails as of yesterday. And so Exhibit 1 is just showing the frequency of her harassment from a bird's eye view.
And so when you get the email from her, tell me how this gets created.
Yes, so when she sends me emails, I screenshot them and then I place them into these files so that I have them for a record.
Okay. Any objection to Exhibit 1?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, I don't think that the frequency of emails is something that would indicate harassment without something more. If there's communication back and forth between emails, then the frequency of how many times somebody sends an email, I might send 60 a day, but the frequency of emails between, I believe, May to now, and I don't know how many these are. We don't see the emails in here. There's nothing to say that this, in fact, is harassment within the meaning of the statute. So for those reasons, I'm objecting to this being admitted.
All right. Over objection, I'll admit Exhibit 1.
Thank you. Can I continue? Exhibit 2, a lot of these next exhibits are all going to be phone numbers that Laura has contacted me from. She has contacted me from 13 different phone numbers, and I finally stopped blocking the 13th one because I knew that she just would continue to create a Google Voice phone number. And so this first one, it says in the text message, it's Laura, I need please unblock my, and then she shows her number. That was her original number. And so I would like to admit these one by one to show again the many different times that she has continually contacted me after blocking her from.
This is a text message from when, do you know?
Unfortunately, I don't. It just says text message from today. Again, I was screenshotting these as I received them. I received these over the last 5 months. As far as what exact day, I'm not right now. I'm not aware, and I don't know if there's.
Can you approximate when this message came in, or you don't know?
To be honest with you, Your Honor, as far as when this one came in versus the other ones, I don't know. This one says, I have it down here as her blocked cell number 12, so this is probably one of her last ones that she had sent to me. And I would say that I think this one came through probably about a month ago, because since then she resorted back to sending me emails because she put a mail tracker on the messages. So she was able to see when I was reading them. But during this period of time, when she was sending these text messages, I was not opening her messages. And so she knew through her mail tracker that I wasn't reading them. So she decided to go about the Google Voice manner in order to get them to me, because she could see that I was not opening her emails.
Okay, so you have this one, you believe is from one of the 12, at least the 12th message, that as well cell phone number that she was using.
Correct, yes. Each of these came from Laura, yes.
Okay. Any objection to 2?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, this record must show that there is harassment. When I look at this text message, I don't see anything that is even remotely close to harassing here. It's a text message indicating to him that they're having a boy and girl. She has an ultrasound to show. I just don't see anything in here that is even related to the petition itself that shows that this is harassment, that he was annoyed, alarmed, harassed in any way. This is simply a text message.
Well, I mean, part of his petition is the high volume of those, and that ultimately he can testify whether he was annoyed or harassed by these. So I'm going to admit Exhibit 2 over the objection.
Thank you. Again, Exhibit 3, just to make this, again, I want to be respectful of everyone's time here. This is, again, another cell phone that she had contacted me from, so I'd like to admit this one as well for the same reasons as Exhibit 2.
Your Honor, it sounds like there's going to be a number of different cell phone screenshots submitted to the court, and I just want to make record show that I am objecting to all of these based on the same reasons I was objecting in Exhibit 2. So,
okay.
So I don't have to just repeat myself over and over again.
All right. And so, this Exhibit 3 it has that similar language to police and block the original number. So you're telling me this came from Laura, but from another block number.
Correct.
All right. I'll admit 3 over the objection.
Thank you. 4, also sent from Laura. This one says that she couldn't get into Google Voice, had to make a new number. So again, this one just shows that she was in fact using Google Voice and creating more and more numbers in order to harass me. And yes, I did feel harassed because I did not want these messages. This one you can see I did respond to, and what I said is how I felt. I was asking for her to schedule the paternity test, which she continuously declined unless I were to date her exclusively. But for the purposes of this text message, it was another unwanted text message that she had sent my way.
So tell me a little bit more about the dating thing, what you're telling me when you say that.
Yes, so you can see this in this exhibit here. She said, guessing you won't read this, but I made you a pretty good offer. Meet up tonight to discuss the pregnancy and the possibility of dating. But regardless of the outcome, I will schedule a test with Radgen tomorrow. So her stipulation for taking a paternity test early on has always been that she would only do the test if I were to date her exclusively for 2 weeks. Then she dropped it to a week, and I did not agree to any of that. I simply just said, as it says in here, drop the dating stipulation, schedule the test, pay for the first part of it, then email me when you schedule it, and I will schedule my part. So I had continuously tried to figure this out, and she would not do the prenatal paternity test unless I were to date her.
And this Radgen is the...
Radgen is it is the facility that provided the test so that you can test for a prenatal paternity test for twins.
Okay. All right, I'll admit 4 over the objection.
5, again, is another text message. Well, from her again, saying that she doesn't know how to use this app. She's referencing Google Voice. She said, I'd like to meet, no strings attached. I did not want to meet with her. She's asked me to do multiple times. I do not feel safe meeting with her because I'm not sure what she would claim if we were to meet up. I don't have any reason to meet up with her. So this is another text message that she sent me that was unwanted and very harassing.
Over the objection on the 5.
6 again. Another text message says she should change her number. I would like to admit this one as well for the same reasons as the previous messages.
Right, and this is another different number than previously used.
Yes, and then in this one I would even just like to highlight, she said she threatened to leak this to the media, which I will be admitting in evidence for that, but she threatened to go to the media, which she ended up doing. This text message just proves that she was, again, looking to defame me through basically whether we date or leak this to the media. She threatened me to go to the media with this text message, amongst other times she threatened me.
All right. I'll admit 6 over the objection.
7, similar thing again. She stated this time she would do it with no strings attached. I had then responded by saying, let's schedule the paternity test regardless. But she was asking for this agreement and that we needed to meet up for a good faith consultation. Again, I did not feel safe meeting up with her one-on-one, so I disagreed with this. But this is another text message that she decided to send from a different number.
Sorry, guys. Too many buttons to click around here. I think this is a good point because I think we love to hate her, hate to love her. Like, this is the one thing about true crime that has always fascinated me because brains are fascinating, right? You could have so many different explanations for why she does what she does and how she does. It's interesting that if she would step a little bit differently through the world, she might actually have experienced some of the relationships that she's craving. I don't know. I'm totally not educated in any way to say this. It's just what I think. And obviously, I don't speak for Meg, other than when I'm speaking as Meg, but it's still, that's not Meg, that's me. And I just think this case is so very interesting because it kind of encompasses a lot of different things that, from social to true crime to court systems. I mean, there's just so many layers to it that you draw in this huge variety of people who have never otherwise communicated about interests, and now everybody's talking about it. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure I did my couple of comments because that's the rules for YouTube. So I don't want to get her in even more trouble than I may have already. I don't know. I still don't think I'm doing the monetization part right. Please forgive me, Meg. Okay, let's enjoy.
These are all, as I can just a reference, these are every single one of these, as you can see at the top, they're all different numbers. So these are all coming from a different number every time.
Wasn't it 7 over the objection?
Another text message, she just states that she sent an email to Rabjan, and then she threatened, sure you want me to go to the public instead of meet up? So those were the options. Either we meet up or she goes public with the information.
I'll admit 8 over the objection.
9, another message that I didn't block. As you can see, she sent multiple messages before I decided to block her. And she was asking for a good faith consultation. Again, she was trying to meet up with me. For what reason, I can only speculate, but I did not feel comfortable doing so. And so this is another phone number that I ended up blocking.
And can you elaborate on what it says? I just made what I think is a very enticing offer. What that means?
So to be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what her offer was. She made multiple ones, but they all centered around a very similar, if we meet up and we try to date, it was 2 weeks and it became 1 week, then it became just meet up for this tonight, this good faith consultation. And she would make a lot of promises as far as once we do this, then I will go take the test. But again, I did not feel safe being with her one-on-one. I did ask actually to meet up with in the court, or I said we could even meet up. At one point I said a coffee shop with people around, and she declined that and said, no, we need to meet up in private. So I said no to that, and blocked her again on this phone number.
I would hold at 9 over the objection.
Again, 10, this is another phone number. She mentions going dark on her, which is a reference to me not responding to her. Again, just to highlight that she has been consistently harassing me with me not responding to her for the large majority of these messages. The only time that I was often responding was to try to get a paternity test scheduled. Outside of that, I did not. I had little to no interaction with her. And so at this point, she references here, I will cancel the Ravgen appointment. She had scheduled one, paid the $750 for it. But then in the past, as she had stated she had scheduled it, she would end up canceling these. So it was just a show on her side of things to state, yes, I'm trying to do this test. But when it came down to it, she always placed stipulations whenever I responded to her. So at this point, when she said I'd spend $750, I did not respond to this and blocked this phone number because I was not taking any of what she was saying seriously. Because she can, every time I would ask, okay, let's do this, she would bring a stipulation on board.
Submit 10 over the objection.
11. So again, similar thing. I think this is around the same time. She said she'll tell Ravgen that we don't want the appointment next week. But I couldn't be more steadfast in my decision not to take it early without the stipulation. So again, the stipulation is the only way, as she says here, and then she says, anyway, I hate to go to the press, but that was your decision as well, and I respect it. And then she even says, she tries to talk about making an offer on a property for real estate, but so again, I don't understand why, as clearly there's no relationship here or any interest in me wanting to talk, but yet she was trying to have any type of discussion with me. But again, she says here stipulation is the only way to do the test, and so I end up blocking her again.
That was mid 11 over objection.
12, again, this one, she said she wants to do the test. I then said, you want to do the test and the stipulations? She said, you're going to be forced by the court to meet up with me. So the second I found out that she, again, I asked, she'd do no stipulation. She ended up saying, you have to meet up with me. And then she says down here, I said, you're willing to meet up in a very public place. You will take the test afterwards. So no, it's with a week worth of stipulations and hopefully more. So again, she stated that after she said she wants to take the test, she then confirmed that she was not willing to take the test unless the stipulations were added.
Amendment 12 over the objection.
13. Again, another message from Laura, different number. I asked her if she'll meet up at the court with the mediator present. She said that's not how it goes. We can meet up just us, and I will withdraw the request for sanctions. And then again, I said, would you meet up in a public location? This one was cut off. It was in another text message, but she ended up disagreeing to or not being willing to meet publicly. She said we had to meet privately, and so then I blocked her on this phone number as well.
Amendment 13 over the objection.
Okay. How am I doing on time?
You have about 10 minutes.
That's okay.
Maybe 15 minutes.
I want to skip now. I want to make sure I get to the ones that I really want to talk about. Okay, so Exhibit 15. Laura sent me a very alarming message stating that she was going to kill herself if I do not remove it was a video that I posted to my Instagram. So Laura has claimed that my responses online are meant to defame her, but that is not the case. Laura decided to leak the story to the Sun originally, and she leaked it with her as anonymously, so she did not place her name out there. But what she did do is she mentioned to them that we had an active court case. So that active court case, she is the one that brought that against me. In that court case, her name was on the court documents. So she ended up then bringing that, figuring out once this was leaked to the Sun, they submitted the story, and then it stated that within that document that there was an active court case with me. People then searched my name and found her name through that. So this email right here, she was basically threatening me to take down my video. In my video, I just stated that this individual was making these claims. I just made a statement of the facts that they were making these claims, and they opened a court case against me. And then from there, I do have a large following. I am a public figure, a celebrity, I suppose. I don't like that word. But I have a large following, and then that audience, I cannot control what they do. But they then went and found that court case in the system and found her name, and then started to talk about her online. And then Laura, I assume, was feeling the pressure from it being online and her name being out there. She then sends me this alarming message, which again I felt was harassing, but to threaten to kill herself. I don't think anybody should ever receive a message such as that.
All right.
Okay, I don't know if it kind of sounded like Meg was maybe going to jump in on that in her video, but I did not watch it before this, so I apologize if she's about to say the same thing that I'm saying right now, which is the unaliving stuff is really such a manipulation that I can't even imagine being in a headspace where you do that to somebody. It's traumatic for somebody on the other side of it to hear, and it's terrifying. And to be honest, I think that the person in these cases so far that I feel the worst for is Mike MM. He really took the brunt of it in their relationship, and they were so young, and he handled it as well as you could at that age, but that was rough stuff. And I don't know, I think Clayton is probably more able to shrug it off because it really was just a short encounter, right, with a stranger. But for somebody who they were involved with her for a while, and their families knew each other and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, again, I'm paying my YouTube tax here and making my comments when I can. And please like, subscribe, share. If you can, donate some super chats or to buy a coffee for Meg, so when she feels better, she can get right back to it, because gosh, does she do so much work on these videos. It's amazing. All right, thank you guys. And we're going to hit.
I'm going to continue to object for the same reasons that the other exhibits 2 through 11, actually 2 through 13, for the same reasons. I don't think that, again, this is showing that this is harassment by sending an email to him, asking him to take down posts, or saying that maybe she is suicidal. And for those reasons, I'm requesting that this not be admitted into evidence.
All right. I'll admit 15 over the objection.
Thank you. Come back to that. Let's see, I just want to make sure if I have some run out of time here. I'll jump ahead here just to Exhibit 23. So Laura has contacted multiple nonprofits that I work for in attempts to defame me. and basically get them to not work with me. So in this email here, she sent this to the Arizona SPC. This was I just spoke actually at this Hope conference. I'm a mental health advocate. And so Laura began to blackmail me and reach out to individuals that she had seen that I interacted with online. So I'd like to admit this as evidence that, again, she was harassing me through reaching out to individuals close to me in attempts to defame me.
And how did you get this? It was sent to you as well?
She copied me on email.
Okay, and when was this sent?
This was sent on August 3rd, 2023.
Okay. Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm going to object because this appears to be an email that Mr. Eckert was either to or CC'd on that indicates Laura's reasoning for why she believed that he shouldn't be a speaker at this conference. And this isn't harassment, and it doesn't seem like it was directed toward him. It was directed, although he was CC'd in the email, or he was in the email, it was directed to the Hope Conference in relation to whether he should be speaking at this based on what was going on and his credibility. I don't think this would be appropriate to be admitted in this case. This wasn't directed toward him for harassment purposes, and so this shouldn't be admitted.
All right, I'm going to admit 23 over the objection.
I would like to now go to Exhibit 26. This email was sent by Laura threatening to sue me, again, with the videos that I was posting in order to protect my own image. My image is how I make my money, and I make my money online, mental health advocate. Also, being a public figure, I have brand deals and such, and companies that I work with. So everything that I'd stated, I've never once mentioned her name in public, and then in this email, as I put up a video to protect my own integrity and protect my own reputation, Laura threatened to sue me with a massive lawsuit and stated she had an unlimited budget to sue me, which I felt was very harassing in nature.
Is this the same video that was the previous nature of the other email that she was asking to take down? Or is that something?
I believe this one was. To be honest with you, again, I put up a few messages or videos. I believe that was referencing that video, where again, I believe it was either that, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure if it was that one or if it was the one where I stated I had scheduled a prenatal paternity test and I was waiting for her to schedule her portion. I submitted I think I put 3 or 4 public statements online, and every time she would threaten me to take it down or face legal action.
Any objection to 26?
Yes, Your Honor, same thing that I've been objecting for this entire time. Again, I don't think that this email specifically shows that she was trying to harass him. I don't think that is relevant to the petition, and for those reasons, I don't think this should be admitted.
I'll admit 26 over the objection.
Thank you. Anything else? I guess I will go to Exhibit 19 now. This is, again, another email that I was copied on. Laura had sent this to my father. Sent a long email basically saying that I blocked her and that, hopefully he could get through to me and get me to end up talking with her. So she, again, I want to admit this just to show that she went to many various different avenues, friends and family, in order to bring light to this and put pressure on me to then interact with her.
Different objection to 19.
This isn't directed at Clayton, Your Honor. This is directed at his father. It's an email to his father. Mr. Eckert's father is not indicated in this petition. He's not here today. I don't think this should be admitted for those reasons.
It does appear that Mr. Eckert was copied on the email as well, so I'm going to admit 19 over the objection.
Thank you. I'd like to look at
About 5 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to look at Exhibit 16. This was an email sent to me from Laura, and basically in this is Exhibit 16 and 17. They came within the same email. She stated that this is the photo I'm going to use. It was a picture of two pieces of clothing saying Eckerd twins coming February 2024. In this email, she said, "Surprise! I can't wait for the arrival of these two next Valentine's Day," which I don't know how she would know that she'd be due on February 14th. But she stated then that on a more serious note, their father said he wants nothing to do with the process. He has blocked me. Tag him and let him know what you think. So this was a threatening email where she was stating, if you want option A, and option A had to deal with dating her. She said, "I will not post this. I'm just looking for support during this incredibly overwhelming time."
And when was this sent?
I see that it says yesterday, 2:23. So I wish there was a timestamp, but I believe this was earlier. This was probably 3 months ago. It was towards the beginning. Again, this has been 5 months ongoing, but this is probably 3 months. And at this point, this is before she had not leaked the story to the Sun at this point.
Any other objection to 16 or 17?
Objections to both for the same reasons stated before, Your Honor.
All right, at 16 and 17.
Thank you. I'd like to focus on Exhibit 21. So this shows a process server that.
Okay. I really hope this doesn't bite me, but I'm gonna ask what you guys think here. Apparently, for those who have been following the case, the computer forensic report has been published. It is on Twitter. And I'm wondering if some of the chat wants to talk about it. I can read part of it while we're in the middle of this, or if you want me to keep going with this video, I'm more than happy to do that. I don't know if Meg would plan on running this later, but I'm just trying to think of anything that would maybe get the views and likes and all those things up, so this stream can make some money for Miss Meg. What do you guys think? Do we wanna talk about it? I'll hit play. You guys tell me in the chat.
Miss Owens hired to serve me papers when I went down to Miami to visit my cousin. She knew that I was down there, and she had researched women that I had interacted with or expressed interest with in the past, found that these two women lived in Miami. I didn't even know that Mrs. Jessica Gerard even lived in Miami, but I did not go to see either of them. But she had a process server try to serve papers to both of those residents, which I felt was very harassing in nature, as these individuals I have not been in contact with for quite some time, and I believe it was a display of power on Miss Owens' part to, again, harass me and try to get other people involved. And so I'd like to admit this because I felt that, again, it was very harassing in nature that I had a process server trying to serve papers to individuals that I had expressed interest to in the past. It didn't seem necessary, as you could have just served the papers in Scottsdale.
Yes, Your Honor. In almost any lawsuit, there needs to be service of process. That's how a lawsuit begins. That is for personal service. The court has jurisdiction over the person. Nobody likes to be served papers. I don't think that this shows any amount of harassment. This was the process server emailing Mr. Eckerd. My client isn't even on this email.
All right, so I'm going to sustain the objection as to 21. I'm not going to admit that one.
I guess I can just admit this, the last one, Exhibit 35. This was sent, I sent on Friday of last week. I took a screenshot of it. This is after Ms. Owens filed a order of protection against me. And as I've never threatened her, I believe I have not ever threatened her, but yet she continued to contact me. So this was, I thought, again, she was asking to go to the sonogram appointment, and it would mean a lot to me if you would go. Again, I think all things considered, the fact that she's still, I had no interest in wanting to meet up, and she was still sending me these messages after she placed an order of protection against me. I think it just more so shows that the reason she submitted the order of protection, it would not make sense as to why she would want to meet up after that point. Again, this felt threatening because just another message that she continued to send. And I just didn't, I've been not wanting any of these emails to come over to me.
Any objections?
There are same objections as before, but at the same time, this is outside the scope of even this petition.
And I do think we're restricted to kind of the petition since this was happened after the petition was filed. I will sustain an objection and not admit 35. Record, if there's any other testimony you want to give as well, just outside of exhibits that you want to let the court know, you can also provide other testimony.
Yes. Is this the time for me to ask a question in the court, or as far as what I don't know?
I'm not sure what that is, but you can.
Again, I guess I'll say this.
And have a time to do a closing, but if you have additional evidence or anything else you want to present, just that's what I'm looking for you to do. But if you have a specific question, you can ask that as well.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to state, well, maybe this would be better for my closing statement. I guess I don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay. And no other evidence you wanted to present?
For the sake of time, I know that I ran out. I could try to submit the rest of these, but I think I've run out of time.
All right. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. You were Laura's real estate agent, is that correct?
I was for a brief period of time, correct.
Okay. And that was earlier this year, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And back in around May of 2023, you and Laura had become intimate, is that correct?
Correct.
And since then, Laura has made it known to you or has claimed that she's been pregnant, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you have, even until this day, you've refused to believe that Laura is pregnant, is that correct?
Okay. Decent spot to stop, I think, because we all know that he does not believe she's pregnant. Now, hopefully, when I add this share screen, it doesn't. Yeah, I know I don't have both monitors set up yet right now, so that's fine. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it works, but I can't. I don't think you guys can see it when I. Oh, hello. So I'm going to add to stage. There we go. Okay. The bummer part of this is that I can't watch chat while I'm sharing my screen because I don't have my dual monitors hooked up right now, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so breaking news. All right, the forensic report that was done on Mike's computer, the one that is supposed to verify that the messages that were sent to him by Laura that she claims were faked, mainly the ones that said she had cancer and an ovary removed and all of that stuff. she claims those were faked and she never sent them, etc. So there was forensics done on Mike's computer, and the forensic report is back. Now, I skipped the entire first page. I'm sure this will be broadcast everywhere else, and I really, really hope Meg forgives me if she planned on running this, but I'm going to try to do my best here to get these views up for her. So we're going to start right in on page 2, and every once in a while I'm going to shoot back and check in on chat. Okay, here we go. All right, so well, let's see if we can increase the size. Apparently we can't. Oh boy. Guys, forgive me. This is difficult to read. This office was contacted by Michael Marinacci, I'm sure I'm butchering that, who requested that his personal computer be processed as evidence pertaining to an ongoing investigation. We know all that stuff. Specifically with Laura Owen's phone number, and we gives her phone number. They extracted it, analyzed it, and checked it for evidence of tampering. So on his MacBook, which if you didn't know, your MacBook syncs your cloud, right? So just like when you set up an iPad and it matches pretty much everything on your iPhone, same thing works for a MacBook. It'll put all of your preferences in there as long as you have it set up that way. Thank you, Jen G, because I really feel like I'm butchering this, but I'm going to try. Not to, I should say. Okay, so going back to it. Now, the computer, they give it an identification number, blah, blah, blah. And when they're giving it back to him so that he'll have it, analysis and process. A full forensic image copy was created using, you know what, guys? I am going to actually, here's what I'm going to do. You have it up on the screen. I'm going to read it on my phone because I can read better off of my phone here. Okay. As long as I get on the right page. And I said I was starting on page 2. It's actually page 3. Okay. So the computer, where to go? Full forensic image copy was created. A full acquisition is maintained for files. Basically, a bunch of computer speak that they created a verifiable drive for it and secured it and stored it so that it can be analyzed later if anybody wants to double check their work. That's what I'm assuming they did it for. Okay, so findings. All text messages and associated attachments from to Laura Owens with her phone number were tagged and produced in a standard report. And we're going to skip whatever that says. Cellbrite. Oh, Cellbrite report. You've seen that on trials. Cellbrite report. The report was produced as a single page document, a single 2,489 page PDF document. Holy wowza. With links to the associated attachments. The report is identified within the daytime marker. It gives the information. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is so much boring stuff. Note that all times referenced in the report are in UTC, which again, we see that in court cases. That's very common. We saw that in Crumbly case, right? For the items of interest in the August to September 2016 timeframe, to convert to PST, Pacific Standard Time, subtract 7 hours from UTC. I like that he put that in there. That's nice. Okay. I have examined the file structure and continuity of the text message streams and associated attachments found on this computer. I found no evidence of tampering or alterations that would question the authenticity of the messages included in my report. Boom. Oh boy. Okay, that's big, I think. Okay, so going back to this, I was asked to address the allegation that Mr. Maricini, oh my God, I always want to say Marinacci and it's Maricini, fabricated evidence in the matter. In reviewing the material, one of the items of interest is a photo of a paper report from Planned Parenthood referencing Laura Owens' visit on 8/10/2016. This photo was attached to a text here. I don't know if you guys can see what's up on the screen very well, but I'll go ahead and switch the page anyway. So if you can see it, you can see it. Okay. Sorry. So this photo was attached to a text message from 415 blah 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 on 8/12/2016, 1307 PST to Mr. Maricini. See page 653 of 240 in 2,489 page. Wow, report. The internal metadata of this photo shows it was taken 8/10/2016 with an iPhone 6. The location tracking GPS was turned off for this photo. Analysis of other photos found on the evidence computer show photos that I believe were taken by Mr. Maricini around the same time. Those photos were taken by an iPhone 6S. So a different phone. That's interesting. This is one of many examples that refute any allegations of fabrication. Similarly, time frame that show the screenshots. Oh, sorry. Whoa. Sorry, guys, lost my spot because I'm switching back and forth here. Similarly, there are creation dates on the screenshots in PNG files found from around the August-September 2016 timeframe that show the screenshots were captured prior to when they were attached to their various text messages. If requested, I can exact all the metadata for all the associated pictures and screenshots. Interesting. Well, like how? Okay. I have confirmed with Mr. Maricini by an examination of several photos that he confirmed he took with his phone in the months before and after August 2016, and that his phone at that time was an iPhone 6. 6S, sorry, 6S. 6S, that's the difference. As a further example of the continuity and authentication of the presented evidence, I have extracted the metadata associated with 7 text message attachments listed below. The date, time of the text message. Sorry. The items, wow, lost my spot again. This is why I don't do this for a living. Meg is so much better at it. Oh my God, you guys. The items listed show the page number from the provided PDF report, attachment file name, and the date and time of the text message. Each of these are messages from that number to Mr. Maricini. In each case, the external metadata for the attached image shows it was created just minutes before each text was sent. I have also examined a sampling of other attachments to text messages on other dates from Laura to Mr. Maricini. In no case did I find any evidence that contradicts the narrative. And then he gives a list of all the messages. That full-size render file name is interesting to me. And lastly, he says, I have found no evidence of tampering in any material related to this case or otherwise, and believe that text messages as shown in the Cellbrite PDF report accurately depict the text communications between Mr. Maricini and Laura Owens on the dates and times indicated. Boom. Okay, that was big. I feel like that was big. I'm going to go ahead and remove this page and flip on back to the video. Oh gosh, guys, ever catch yourself in the mirror?
I would say that's not correct. I mean, I did question that.
Right. Yeah, this is good. This is good. It's perfect. I mean, here's the deal. It doesn't get any simpler than lying. If you have to stretch and pull and dance around every single thing that you're talking about and that you've said to back up what you're doing, it's not great, man. It's just not great. It doesn't look good. The thing is, you know, whether the images themselves are edited is irrelevant. They came from her. So she knew what they said when she sent them, right? And she knew the impact of what would come of it. It's very interesting. I really am very excited to see how this case plays out. It'll be very interesting. I think when I do my job, I try to, when I see something that looks wrong, because I do document review for real estate. When I see something that doesn't look right, I try to prove myself wrong. That's what I do. I try to prove myself wrong, and look at it to make sure that it is valid. If you got to do too much to prove yourself wrong, to validate something, I should say I said it wrong, then you're working too hard for it, and something's wrong with it. That's just the 2 cents. But we'll get back into the video. I'm sure all the channels will have that in much better detail than I had. I just wanted to cover it since we're doing the stream here, and it came out in the middle of it, so just wanted to do that. Okay, let's get back to it, guys.
If she was, but I have tried to give her every possible option or ability to prove to me that she's pregnant. She's not allowed me to talk to any of her medical examiners that have administered the quote-unquote ultrasounds that she has done.
Okay, and she isn't required to give you her health information, is that correct?
I personally would say that when she's claiming I'm the father, that the father of her alleged children should be able to have access to her medical records, especially when it's pertaining to pregnancy.
But it is true that at the beginning, back in maybe May or June, you did not believe that Laura was in fact pregnant. Is that correct?
Yes, I have questioned if she's pregnant.
Okay, correct. You have exchanged emails or text messages with Laura indicating that you did want her to get an abortion. Is that correct?
I had stated that if my preference was to not have children with her, but it was ultimately her choice, and I was not going to pressure her.
And those were communications that you had back and forth with Laura in text messages. Is that correct?
Yes, we had interacted via email early on.
Okay. But had you also interacted with her in text messages?
Yes, as evidence I've submitted, I did respond to her early in the messages.
Now, you agreed to meet with Laura or have Laura come to your house to do a pregnancy test. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Laura did come to your house to go to your house to do a pregnancy test, correct?
Yes, she ended up doing one when she was there, yes.
Okay, and that test showed that she was in fact pregnant. Is that correct?
And showed that she had HCG in her blood, yes.
Okay, and when you all agreed to do that, you were communicating back and forth with Laura, correct?
Correct.
She didn't just show up at your house, correct?
Correct.
You questioned then not only whether she was actually pregnant, but then whether you were the father. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Laura went out of her way to schedule various paternity tests to show that you were the father. Is that correct?
For that, I would say she was claiming she'd scheduled them. She did schedule a few, but then whenever I did not agree to her stipulation, she canceled them.
Okay. So she scheduled a few. Is that correct?
I believe she did, yes.
Okay. And it was her that did the scheduling. Is that correct?
Until I scheduled one, yes, that she and I took recently, which came back little to no fetal DNA present.
Okay. The communication between you and Laura for the scheduling, was that through email?
Yes, mostly it was over email at that point, correct.
Some of it was through text messages, is that correct?
I had asked for her to schedule them via text. Yes, I believe that, yes, I mean, as you saw in the exhibits, I had asked for if she would do it without stipulations.
Okay. And so there was communication back and forth between you and Laura, is that correct?
But yeah, it's very limited overall considering the frequency of the messages she sent. But yes, at certain points I was trying to work this out with her.
Okay. Now, the text messages and emails that you've provided to the court today, those are not all of the text messages from you, and of course, they're not all of the text messages from her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And same thing with the emails. That's not all the emails from her. It's not all the emails from you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I will not be able to submit.
I don't have a question. Now, Laura, you at some point in time stopped responding to Laura, whether it be through text messages or emails. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is also around the time when Laura was trying to schedule the paternity test. Is that correct?
I stopped responding, and then she started to state she wanted to schedule a test. Just she was claiming she wanted to, but she would never, whenever it came down to me wanting to schedule it with no stipulations. So I stopped responding at a certain point when I realized that she would always keep adding the stipulations in. So from that point forward, she was making claims she wanted to schedule them. It didn't mean anything. She had already proven that she had no interest in actually following through.
Was there a time that you're aware of that Laura hired an attorney to help schedule the paternity testing?
I had spoken with one of her attorneys at one point, and they had shown me the ultrasound that I had admitted here, and I asked for them to subpoena the records or to get the records from that ultrasound. She would not provide it, and then stated that I asked her if she would schedule without stipulations, and the lawyer told me she would not.
Okay. Laura paid for you to have or to do some sort of blood test to determine, to do your part of the paternity testing. Is that correct?
As I referenced in my exhibits, she did make a payment, and then when I would not do it without the stipulations, she canceled.
She canceled or you canceled?
Canceled. Somebody canceled my portion. It was not me. It was I. They called in and tried to cancel my portion, in which case I found that out, and that's what led to me scheduling it and then going online to make a statement so everyone knew that I was trying to do this paternity test. I did not cancel it, though. Absolutely not. Somebody called in and canceled it for me because our names were under the same test.
You're stating that somebody canceled a paternity test on your behalf, and it wasn't you, and you didn't authorize that?
That is correct.
Now, you and Laura have an active family court case together, is that correct?
That is correct.
And it was Laura that filed that case against you, is that correct?
That's correct.
And this family court case is in regard to paternity, is that correct?
In regards to a parenting plan, she filed for a parenting plan.
Okay.
The children that have not been proven.
All right. And you're not represented by an attorney, is that correct, in that family court case?
That is correct.
Okay. And is it your understanding that she, at least at the time, wasn't represented by an attorney in that case?
I understand the purpose of that question, but I don't. So I've spoken with lawyers. I believe that she filed in that case, though, as representing herself.
Okay. And the court ordered that you guys meet and confer. Is that correct?
For an early resolution conference virtually, but not to meet in person. That was never sent to me, although she claims that the court mandated that.
To resolve different issues prior to that conference. Is that correct?
The court did not mandate that. I never was told by the court. I was told to show up to an early resolution conference. She said that we were supposed to, if able to. Apparently the court asked that individuals try to resolve all matters, but I had no interest in doing that because I did not trust her if we were to meet up one-on-one, what she would accuse me of.
Okay. But she emailed you or texted you in regard to trying to resolve those issues before showing up to the early resolution conference. Is that correct?
Claimed that we needed to meet up to discuss matters. What specifically I was not sure of.
Now, you have accused Laura multiple times of lying that she is pregnant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you've done that online. Is that correct?
I believe in a video, again, I never once mentioned her name. I believe I may have said I questioned whether or not she was pregnant.
Okay, so you insinuated that she was lying. Is that correct?
I believe she was lying, yes.
And the different media outlets have you spoken to media outlets about this?
I early on provided statements to a couple of outlets to state that I did not believe that I was the father, and that I was hoping to do a prenatal paternity test in order to prove whether or not I in fact was.
Okay. And up until recently, you hadn't done a paternity test. Is that correct?
Yes, but that was because of Miss Owens was not willing to do one as I asked her to as far back as 4 months ago.
Okay, so you're blaming Miss Owens for not doing a paternity test. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's why you wouldn't do a paternity test?
I could not do one because she would not do one. She would not do it unless I were to date her. Those were her stipulations.
Now, you indicated that you spoke to the media about this, and they published those statements online. Is that correct?
There were a few outlets, yes, that published my response. Yes.
And the results of the paternity test are not resolved. Is that correct?
I was told that little to no fetal DNA was present on the first sample and that she needed to submit another sample.
So the results are not in yet. Is that correct?
Yes, I suppose that is correct.
Now, you had indicated that Laura had blocked you several times. I apologize. You had indicated during your testimony that you had blocked Laura several times from various numbers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But you were in communication with Laura this entire time since May. Is that correct?
I would not say that's correct. I was not in communication the entire time. If I were to be able to show all the exhibits, I probably responded to maybe 5% of what she has sent to me.
Okay. I'd like to take a look at Exhibit 4. Plaintiff's Exhibit 4. You had indicated that this was a text message from Laura to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you had responded to Laura in this particular text message. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that the same thing with Exhibit 12 and Exhibit 13? You had responded to Laura after she messaged you?
If there's a text bubble, as I'm trying to look here for the sake of respecting time, if there's a text bubble, then yeah, I mean, I was the responder in those messages.
Okay. And in all of these text messages that you submitted to the court, did you ever, one time, tell Laura to stop texting you?
Multiple times I asked her to stop communicating with me.
Okay. I'm asking, in the exhibits you submitted to the court and in your testimony, you not one time ever said that Laura stopped texting me or stopped communicating with me, did you?
I'd have to go back and see exhibits that I directly submitted, but I've asked multiple times for her to cease communication. And then you're asking from me specifically if I stated this in the text messages, that I can absolutely confirm I've asked her multiple times to stop responding to me. And I have evidence to prove that, maybe not on these text messages alone, but again, I have 500 exhibits I could have been submitted.
And isn't it true that you indicated Laura threatened to go to the media regarding this, correct? You had indicated that Laura had spoken to you via email or text message that she was willing to go to the media to discuss what was going on between you and her. Is that correct?
Yeah, she stated she was going to go to the media, yes.
And didn't you email or text Laura indicating, go ahead? Essentially, go ahead, you can talk to the media.
I believe I did state that at one point, because my reasoning for that was because I knew she was was trying to threaten me and scare me by going to the media, and I did not want to give her the joy or whatever you want to call it of knowing that she was affecting me. So I just stated, sure, if you want to go to the media, go to the media. But I was not giving her permit. I guess I wasn't agreeing to it. I just knew it was inevitable. She was threatening me.
You consented to it?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I consented to it. I wanted to resolve this privately, very, very early on, multiple times. And as I sent some of these exhibits show, I was trying to. She had threatened to go to the media multiple times. And at that point, after she had threatened me multiple times, I stated, go ahead, just simply because I knew that she was going to continue to threaten me and she would eventually go public.
No further questions.
And you have an opportunity to provide rebuttal testimony if you want to, based on what he's asked you. If you have anything else you want to help clarify.
Yeah. Again, I think what he's trying or what he's attempting to show is that there was continuous communication throughout. And I believe, again, this is a matter of frequency, my messages versus hers. I was continuously trying to solve this matter. And the few times that I did reach out, I was trying to come to a conclusion. Again, had I actually been the father and if the prenatal paternity test was done 4 months ago, I was willing to take the test back then and willing to then move forward from that point. But this individual, Ms. Owens, never had any interest in settling this matter. As I had referenced in our prior cases, this individual, I believe, again, this is just my opinion, but, harasses individuals into dating her. And when they do not want to, then she starts to say that she's not willing to take a test, or at one point it was, I'll take Plan B or the abortion pills if you agree to date. So there's always stipulations around that. But the few times where I did respond to her, it was from me trying to get a prenatal paternity test on the books because I was wanting to be able to prove that I was not, in fact, the father. Through all of this, I just want to make this statement. Ms. Owens has not been able to prove that she is 5 months pregnant with twins. A positive HCG test, you can manipulate HCG levels. These sonograms don't have a report with them either. And so no doctor has ever stood behind these tests and been willing to state that she is in fact pregnant with 5 months pregnant with twins. And so
I'm going to object right now. This sounds like a closing argument as opposed to testimony.
Overruled. Go ahead.
So the whole thing for me is I've been trying to quash this. I've been trying to come to a solution. I never wanted this to be public. I never wanted this to get out there and be such a big deal, but this individual did and made sure that it got out. I would just, again, I would like the order of protection or injunction against harassment. I would like that because this individual is an aggressor, and if she will not continue to come after me, or she will continue to come after me unless I cut off communication. And so this is whether or not I responded, it's the sheer frequency of unwanted messages that she sent me. Tell me what that is. Tell me what you believe is the number of messages you've received. I believe in that doc. I believe she has sent me at this point 400 to 500 emails, probably. That's over what period of time? Over 5 months. And is that including email and text messages, or? Yes, email? She predominantly has sent me emails. And most of it was mostly email, not text message that she's been sending me. The messages that you provided as exhibits, a lot of them were text messages. Yes. And so the other messages that you were receiving, I think Exhibit 1 had that big picture of all those, emails or whatever, but you're
testimony is that primarily she's been communicating with by email, and tell me more about the nature of the emails that she's been sending.
Yeah, so as some of the exhibits I admitted today, these are just the ones that I felt, again, I know that we're here for injunction and harassment, so I was focusing on messages that pertain to harassment itself. But the rest of the messages, again, were very repetitive. I think a lot of this is encapsulated as far as what she was sending me. She would send me visual images to try to harass me. She noticed that when she sent visual images, I became emotional, and then she would send more messages on top of that to try to aggravate me. Again, I was not able to submit all of the emails because I would have submitted probably 500 to 600 exhibits. And so for the sake of time, I chose what I felt was specific to harassment itself. But I would say that, again, the first exhibit that I submitted, it just shows you with the folders the dates and how often she was sending me emails. And it was just every day, or every other day for 5 months. And I believe that this individual, again, her whole, she tries to overwhelm individuals through constantly messaging and trying to convince them of this reality that she has created. But again, as I will have to go to court tomorrow with the family court, she has not been able to prove she is 5 months pregnant with twins. And I continue to reiterate that because she has falsified medical records, I believe, and she's also lied under oath. And I believe these are criminal offenses, and I believe that this individual continues to do this in court, and that is why I've tried to draw parallels with the other cases, because she's done this multiple times, and I believe that she'll continue to do it. So I am trying to, for one, stop her from communicating with me, but I'm also trying to bring to light that this individual continues to do similar repeated patterns of behavior, and it has been extremely stressful. I have been very, very, very stressed out by receiving these constant influx of messages that could have all been solved had she had just took a prenatal paternity test all the way back at the earliest time that we were able to do so. None of this had to have happened. She didn't have to take it this far. But the point I'm making is she never actually wanted to take it until I went public and stated I signed up for a prenatal paternity test. Now she needs to schedule her part. I then placed that upon her to schedule her portion. And then as people knew that she had to schedule it, she then scheduled. But the test came back, little to no fetal DNA present, which would track with her not actually being 5 months pregnant with twins, because if she had twins, then there would be fetal DNA present. She claims that there was an issue with the sample. She then submitted another sample that got caught up in Tennessee or wherever. It didn't make its way there. I can give my own opinion on what I believe happened, and I believe the message may have been intercepted, but I do not know that. But I know that when she tests again, it's going to come back the same thing. I do not believe, at this point, I'm not technically questioning that she's not pregnant, because I do believe she may have gotten pregnant to corroborate her story, but I 1,000% she does not believe that she's not 5 months pregnant with my twins. And that ultrasound that I have, she would not call the facility when I met with the mediator at the early resolution conference. She would not get on the phone and make a phone call to just state, did I in fact come to this facility, because I believe she never went to that facility, and that was a falsified medical record.
All right. Anything, Mr. Lopez, do you want to present some testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. And before I present, how are we on time?
Fairly short.
How much time do we get?
I would say 20 minutes.
Okay. Could you please remind me when we're at 5 minutes? I appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor. So, Laura, how did you first meet Clayton?
He was my realtor. I contacted his agency because they specialize in creative finance, and then I got connected with Clayton. I'm sorry, go on.
Did you become intimate with Clayton at some point?
Yes, I did.
And was it Clayton that, I guess, made you pregnant? Or is it the two of you that created these unborn children?
Yes, there's absolutely no possibility at all they are anybody else's. There's no chance.
And you're testifying under oath today, is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Under penalty of perjury.
Yes.
Now, when did you find out that you were pregnant?
On June 1st, I found out.
Okay. And did you ever let Clayton know?
Yes, I let Clayton know on June 1st that I was pregnant.
How did you let him know?
Well, I had gone to urgent care to get the pregnancy confirmed because I figured he wouldn't believe me. And then afterwards, I sent him a text telling him that I was pregnant.
And how did he react?
He said that if he was found to be the father, that one of us would get 100% custody. He wouldn't do joint custody. He told me, or it will be put up for adoption, was what he said initially. And then he said that he might even move out of state with the children. And so I think it's understandable that I would be panicky about, what exactly he wanted done and why I was so into getting a parenting plan before they're born.
Okay, now let me just stop. This communication that you were having with Clayton, how was that communication? Through text, emails? How were you communicating with him?
Mainly through text.
And was he texting you back?
Yes, he was texting me back through about June 20th.
And prior to you becoming pregnant, was it your understanding that Clayton wanted to have a family?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And were you doing the things that you could do to inform him about the pregnancy and what was happening with it?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Every step of the way.
What were those things that you were doing to inform Clayton?
Well, I invited Clayton and his family to my first sonogram with, he can't deny that I wasn't pregnant. I got into a specialist, perinatologist, because I have epilepsy. And that was my first appointment. I know we have that in evidence as well, that he was invited. I even told his family if they wanted to come that I would change the date for them.
And what month are we talking about here? What months are we in when you're talking about these different things, the communication between you and Clayton?
July, because that's when I found out I was pregnant with twins. But in June, that was when I went over to Clayton's house and took the pregnancy test in front of him.
Now, during this time when you first informed Clayton, was it clear to you whether Clayton believed that you were pregnant, or did he not believe you, or what was that conversation?
I know that what he wrote initially was basically that he believed it, and because that's why he got into the custody stuff. But really, throughout this whole thing, I would say the theme has definitely been that he doesn't believe I'm pregnant, and I believe that's because he just doesn't want to take responsibility.
Okay. Now, you indicated there was a time that you went to his house. What was that in regard to?
I went to his house because he invited me over on, I believe it was June 17th. He invited me over saying he wanted to talk, and I agreed to go over to his house. And once I got there, I told him I would love to order a pregnancy test, and he said he already had one. So then I took the pregnancy test in front of him. I peed on the stick in front of him. It showed up positive pretty much right away, and he just threw away the stick and said he didn't need to see more. And then we talked about what would happen for us down the line, and he said he would, consider figuring out dating or whatever, because I don't think it's unreasonable to want to see if things can work with the father of your, what I now know as kids.
And let me just stop you. Now, were Clayton's intentions regarding the pregnancy and the unborn children ever clear at any point as far as what he wanted to do?
No.
Okay.
No.
So there was one, and when we say over, so is this over weeks or even months that we're talking?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
over months.
Okay. So was there a point when he wanted you to have an abortion?
Yes, there was.
Was there a point where he wanted to give the kids away for adoption?
Yes, there was, and all of that's in text messages.
Okay. Was there a point where then he didn't want anything to do with the kids and you have sole custody?
Yes.
Okay. And these are communications that you're having with Mr. Eckerd through text messages?
Yeah, those were through text.
What about emails?
Email started later on, after we had the day after we had the conversation where I went to his house and took the pregnancy test. He and I were having a good conversation. Like, he messaged me in the morning. He said he wanted to be intimate that weekend, which I also have that text. And then an hour later, without me responding, he said God told him that we were not meant to be together, and he took that back. And then he blocked me, and I've pretty much been blocked since then.
Okay, so you would admit that you knew that Clayton had blocked you at some point. Is that right?
Yes, via text. Yes, I did.
Okay.
And he
But
told
then
me
would there be... Go ahead.
that's what I wanted to say, is he told me to email him.
Okay. But were there times that even after he blocked you, he would then communicate with you through text?
Yes. He block and unblock.
So sometimes he would block you, but then he would unblock you?
Yes, and I think if you go to Exhibit 1, you can see some of the text messages that he sent to me.
Okay, let's take a look at Defense Exhibit 1, Your Honor, if I may. What is Exhibit 1, Your
Okay, well, it's not Exhibit 1 because obviously we have all of the plaintiff's exhibit. So you need to refer to the exhibit as it is on the exhibit worksheet, which I'm assuming is the first defense exhibit I have is 40.
Okay, Defense Exhibit 40.
I was only given 37, 38, but 39. I don't see any other exhibits.
Titled Clayton, cruel and threatening text to me.
Your Honor, the exhibits that we had uploaded to the court, but I don't...
Were they provided to Mr. Eckerd?
I gave them to him on a flash drive right before the hearing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do my YouTube thingies here for a minute. This attorney knows better. Like, knows how evidence works, knows how discovery works. You can't throw a flash drive at a pro se opponent minutes before a hearing starts and go, here's everything we want you to look at. That's not how this works, and he knows better. Okay. Please like, subscribe, share, talk in the chat, do all the little good YouTube things you can do so that we can help Meg out. So sorry, real quick. For those who came in late, Meg had to have emergency surgery on Friday, and she is not feeling so good post-surgery. She's going to be okay, don't get me wrong, but she really, it hit her pretty hard, I think. So it's taken a bit longer to recover than she thought. YouTube works on algorithms, man, and you start losing money quite quickly if you don't kick out the content. So she asked me to run this stream for her, and I'm trying not to break it, trying to run it as best I can so that she can make a little bit of money at least while she's recovering. So yeah, that's what's going on with Meg right now. Sorry about that. And yeah, Griggs, I agree. It depends on when the discovery deadline was. I don't think it was right before the hearing, but maybe, I don't know, in this type of hearing, maybe it was just as long as we give it to you, and you can access it. Maybe that's all it's needed. But I think this guy, if you have a pro se on the other side, you should do everything you can to make it not easier for them to win, obviously, but you don't want to look like a jerk, I guess. That's just me. Obviously, I'm just commenting. I'm not talking for Meg. I'm just talking as Meg. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's get back into it so we don't get everybody upset here. Hold on.
I did upload them, and it said it was successful. And that was on Friday or Thursday.
Okay, Ms. Owens, thank you. the court has the exhibits. My issue is that Mr. Eckert doesn't have the exhibit. So I guess.
I could show
I'm not
them
sure.
on my computer, Your Honor.
How we believe that he would be able to view those.
Well, I have them on my computer, Your Honor. I gave him a USB with the exhibits on it prior to this hearing.
Okay. And prior to the hearing, like when you came into court today?
Yeah, I gave him the exhibits on a thumb drive. We had submitted the exhibits as the court wanted. I gave them to him electronically on a thumb drive, and I have them on my computer. I don't have them printed out.
Well, I guess I'm not sure how we're going to...
I have them right here on my computer. I will.
I mean, I understand, but you're just going to show him them on your computer while you're talking about them? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'll let him access them with my computer, yeah.
Okay.
They're all in order. If you're saying it's...
Sorry, I gotta stop and address that. That's huge. Thank you so very much. Maybe Meg won't MURDER me after this live. That is much appreciated. Every single little bit counts, obviously. And again, the ways to help are views, likes, shares, comments, and chatting. So much appreciated by everybody. You guys have really shown Meg the love today, and I really hope it's going to help lift her spirits up a bit. Thank you, and let's get going. I think Meg made a good point, by the way. I was just looking at laptops recently, and they don't have those drives anymore, the newer ones. You know, I know you can get them still with it in it, but there's quite a few where that's not standard anymore, so that's interesting. But let's get back to it.
Exhibit 40, then I guess we'll start there.
Okay, Mr. Eckert?
I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, he gave me a thumb drive 20 minutes before we started this case, so I don't have my laptop with me. Nothing was submitted to me until today. I don't understand how, then I don't have any of it, so how can we bring it to light when it was never sent to me until 20 minutes before the case? And I don't have a computer to plug the flash drive into.
Your Honor, and if I may, there are no disclosure requirements in these types of cases. The rules of protective order procedure or injunction against harassment, there are no disclosure requirements. Despite that, again, I gave him a flash drive before court today. I have the exhibits on my computer. He has access to them.
Okay. Well, the logistics of that seem extremely difficult to me when we're at 4:30 already. So we're already an hour and a half into the hearing. And so if we're starting to look at exhibits on your computer while you're trying to ask questions of her about them, I find that's going to be a bit of a difficult issue that I'm having with us trying to logistically all do that.
What does the court propose?
I mean,
again, I can show him my computer. The exhibits are here. I have them in order.
I almost think we need to reset for another, half hour of hearing where you can provide the exhibits, or he can have an opportunity to at least view the ones that you provided on your flash drive, and then we can discuss them as you're trying to admit those.
I mean, we could do that, Your Honor, but then I'd like to proceed with the rest of the case just to use up this time, and then we could do that at another time if we need to.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying I think that exhibit issue, we need to try to resolve that. But if you have additional questions you want to ask her, that's fine.
Okay. So was there a conversation between you? Clayton was responding back to text messages that you had with him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And same thing with emails during this time?
Yes, yeah. It wasn't like he stopped responding. And I also do have on MailTrack that Clayton opened every single one of the emails. I know he said he didn't, but I have proof he opened every one.
Y'all, I am not Southern. Now I'm going to say, y'all, turn off read receipts on your email. Always turn off read receipts. It's a setting. You can turn it off. Almost every email server has it. Turn it off. Nobody needs to be knowing when you're opening your emails, especially not this party. Wow. Also, didn't she say that he wouldn't talk to her? And that's why she kept having to try to contact him different ways? This is, yeah, very basic arguments that she's even losing here.
Okay. And the different exhibits that Clayton had admitted into evidence during his case, those were not the full text message conversations or emails between you and Clayton. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. He was, in fact, texting you back and emailing you back.
Yes, that's correct.
And during the entire 5 months, or since I believe it's May that's indicated in the petition, has there been one time that Clayton has told you, please stop texting me, please stop emailing me, or something along those lines?
No.
In fact, you had asked Clayton whether it was okay if you went to the media regarding this. Is that right?
Correct.
And what did he say?
He said, if you can tell, I'm completely unbothered by it. And I went to the media the next day. And I never wanted to go to the media. I just wanted to make a parenting plan.
Okay. Was there a time that you had to hire an attorney?
Yes.
And what was that in regard to?
I thought it would be easier for the two of us to communicate to try to get that parenting plan with an attorney and for us to avoid having to go to court.
Okay. Was there a time that you tried to do paternity testing with Clayton?
Yes, absolutely. Clayton was very unresponsive to that. And I paid $750 in August to have the testing. I asked him to email the lab to schedule his time because I already had a time scheduled. And he never emailed the lab, so that's why it was canceled. He had, more than a week to email the lab to tell them a date and time, and he didn't do that.
How many times did you schedule paternity testing?
I paid for it once, but I was in communication with the lab, RavGen, which is the lab that Clayton chose, about scheduling countless times.
Okay. And did he ever do any paternity testing, or did you do any paternity testing?
Not until recently.
Okay. And during this, you and Clayton were texting or emailing back and forth regarding scheduling of the paternity testing?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I didn't actually have to provide prenatal paternity testing by the court. I was doing it for Clayton's sake. I could have waited until they're born.
Okay. And was that the main form of communication between you and Clayton?
100%. Everything was about paternity and pregnancy. That was it.
But was it through emails and text messages?
Correct.
That's how the two of you decided to communicate?
What was that?
That's how the two of you decided to communicate?
Yes, was primarily through email.
You said something, except for something.
Oh, except for in June when we met up. Other than that, it was just by texting and emailing.
All right. And it came to a point where Clayton wasn't agreeing to, or he didn't want to create a family plan. Was that your understanding?
Yes, that was.
And what did you want from Clayton?
I wanted to create a parenting plan because I was so unsure about, since he'd given me so many different options for what was going to happen. I really wanted it nailed down before I give birth as to what custody was going to be, and I wanted to see if there would be a possibility for us to do joint custody, not to be dating, but just because I think that would be the best thing for the kids, to not have 100% and 100%. Or just 100%, I'm sorry.
Okay. And that wasn't possible to do prior to hiring an attorney and then eventually filing a family law court case. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
But you tried to make that happen. Is that right?
That's right, yes. That was the
And
whole point.
that was the point of the communication via text message and emails. Is that right?
That was entirely the point.
Let's fact check this for a moment, shall we? So their encounter happened the night of May 20th. Now, on May 25th at 10 a.m., that's 4.5 days later, this is the text message that Laura sent to Clayton. I have one final thing to say that I think you might find important and have nothing to lose by sharing it with you. I have been in a dark place, as I said yesterday, and emotionally tortured since we hooked up because I felt like I didn't know how to bring this up to you. But at this point, I might as well. I have not been on birth control since what happened to me about 15 months ago. There hasn't been a reason since I said I hadn't done anything with anyone since then. Being sexually responsible was not on my radar after taking the gummy, and our clothes were coming off. When I went to the bathroom afterwards, some of your fluids were down there. In all honesty, I was planning on taking Plan B when I got home. But then, when you said you were going to church, I realized that you had a strong faith base as well, and questioned whether or not it was a sign that I should. Then, after we talked in the car, I felt even more so, like both of us had a deep belief in God, and like it was a sign I should just leave it up to Him and not buy it. Obviously, my mind has ping-ponged about this since then, and you were empathetic about me not bringing up anything that wasn't professional or friend-like, of which this situation is neither. I desperately wanted to figure out how to bring it up to you, and I thought that if we could just get together and talk openly, we could, but you didn't want that until the deal closed, which would be too late to take it. I wanted to ask you how you felt about it. I wanted to ask you how you felt about me taking it from a religious standpoint, but we didn't get a chance to. Clearly, I was factoring in things that you weren't that made me panic and led me to a total breakdown in communication. My podcast had a fertility test kit as a sponsor, and so yes, I know I am fertile. At this point, from my overwhelming research on Plan B since Sunday, it's most effective 3 days after, but can still work 5 days out, meaning this is the last day I could take it and have hope of it working if it needs to. If you have any thoughts on this, I'm open to hearing you out. If, and only if, you are kind and respectful, this has been extremely stressful on me. If I don't hear back from you, I'm not going to take Plan B. You're obviously free to think that I'm full of shit, but I'm not. I'll take it as a sign that you don't care what happens either way, and will just allow God's will, whatever that is, to be the determining factor. If I do test positive in a few weeks, though, there is 0% chance of it being anyone's but yours. I'd take any test to prove it. And at that point, any input from you won't matter. Clayton responds, take the Plan B. I support that. You have been really dismissive of my thoughts and feelings, and it's a bigger thing for me to think about now than it was when we originally happened. After all, I do want to have kids. I'm not basing what I'm doing off a 2-sentence response. Let me tell you how serious I am about all of this, since you think it was a plot to hold on to you. If you were to tell me that we could date if I admitted to making it up, as you called it before, I would tell you no can do. None of this is made up, and I am genuinely panicked. I cannot be more serious about this. Please be there for me. Thank you. I'm debating filing a police report. Please leave me alone. If you file a police report because A, you're trying to figure out about Plan B tonight, and B, I'm trying to figure out the status of my offers I made last night, and you won't even tell me if they are active or not, I will file a report with the AAR, which I am absolutely entitled to do, but won't do. Can you please simply help me figure out these issues, at least you said you would be part of the child's life if I'm pregnant and pay child support, which makes me feel better not taking it. Thank you. No, I would file a police report for harassment and would get a protection order. These messages alone would be enough to act on. These messages alone would be enough to enact one. There has not been a response to either offer, so in 2 hours they will be inactive. But again, I have texts trying to transfer you over to my brokerage and you declined. So you have no case against me for the AAR. I did my due diligence. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened because I've ridden this ride at the fair before. This was like a day or two after everything happened. She thought she hooked her one and he didn't respond. And then when they went to look at properties, he's like, whoa, 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 we made a mistake. That can't happen anymore. And she's like, no, I want you. I am going to have you. And he said no. And she started texting and he wanted nothing to do with her and he brushed her off. So she got more aggressive and he kept brushing her off and she got more manipulative in the way that she talked. And she used her offers on the properties as a way to keep connected with him so that she could say, keep asking about them. Well, tell me about them. And then when she would text incessantly and he wouldn't respond, then she starts threatening. Well, if you don't tell me, I'm going to do this. And if you don't tell me, I'm going to do that. And then it starts with, well, if I was, which it's like 3 days later, you don't know. That's not how this works. But she's, premonitioning that she might be. And then the next day, literally, she says she took a test. 5 days later, she took a test. That's not possible. That is not humanly possible. It's not.
Okay, real quick. So I want to go back and answer this. So first of all, I lost it. Meg has it's up there. Yeah. Meg has some background videos on this timeline. If you want to review those, I believe she made a playlist for them. But so after a certain time, when it became evident that she wasn't pregnant, she suddenly, at the end of December, filed a motion saying she was no longer pregnant and she wants to just dismiss the case. Bing, bang, boom. We're done. Nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. And Clayton had an attorney by then, an attorney who has represented one of the previous victims of Miss Owens. And he said, no, not so fast. You brought this case. We deserve to see the evidence that you claim to have. She said she had all kinds of evidence about her pregnancy. And they wanted to see, there's a law about if you terminate a pregnancy after a certain time, in Arizona, I think it's after 20 weeks, you have to have an actual official death certificate because it's a, viable person. So they said, no, we want to see all of this stuff. We need proof. If this was frivolous, then we are owed costs. So his attorney said, no, not so fast. And the judge said, you know what? You're right. We need to go forward. And she's had, since that day, I think she's had 2 more attorneys at least. And that's where we got to this point. So yeah, it's an unbelievable case that just keeps getting more and more unbelievable by the minute.
Like, there's scientific research. 8 to 10 days is the absolute earliest. Absolute. Yikes. She started scheming this the second he brushed her off that next morning. And I have no sympathy for her because as deep as she got herself in, she has had so many opportunities to get out, and instead, she's just taking it all down with her. I'm gonna just burn it all down. I'm away. And that's sad. And I know there's a lot of MH going on, but there's still enough sanity and intelligence in there. She knows what she's doing.
Okay. When did you file the family law case?
I believe it was August 1st.
And was there a point in time that you had to meet up with Clayton because of that case?
Yes.
And what did you need to do before that hearing?
Well, there were two things. I filed a motion where we were supposed to have a good faith consultation, and Clayton just didn't get back to me about that. And then we were supposed to get together before the early resolution conference to see if we could resolve the issues or resolve some of the issues without having to involve the court, I guess.
Is that, and when you received that information from the court regarding those things you needed to do before court, was it your understanding that you were supposed to meet up physically?
Yes, it absolutely was. It specifically said meet up, and he got the same information that I did.
Okay, so you were trying to meet up with him physically due to what the court had ordered.
Correct.
And you communicated that through text messages and emails.
Correct.
Okay. Now, did that meeting ever happen?
No, it did not.
Okay. Who was trying to make it happen?
I was the whole time.
Now, did you know what the penalty would be if you didn't meet up?
I was just going to say that. I did not know what the penalty would be if we didn't meet up, and I didn't want to face any penalties or get in trouble with the court when I was trying to abide by the rules. Yeah, that was all I was trying to do.
And the family court case between you and Clayton, that's still active, right?
Correct.
You guys are both unrepresented, is that right?
Yeah, correct.
So you're forced to communicate with him regarding some of these issues at least, is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Scheduling and meet and confer, things like that?
Yeah.
Now, there was a paternity test that was done, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I took the paternity test on, I don't know, it was earlier this month, I believe, and it came back within the sample, there was little to no fetal DNA, which I was told specifically by the guy who heads this lab that the testing was ongoing, but that was not a conclusive test, and that he needed to have me do a retest. And so but after that, I said, is Clayton aware of this, that the testing results are not final? And he said yes, and I do have that as an exhibit of him on the phone telling me that. But despite that, Clayton went public and said, we also have that exhibit as well, where Clayton boisterously said that there was little to no fetal DNA and I wasn't pregnant, which incited a tremendous amount of harassment towards me. And then after the sample...
Let me stop you really quick.
Oh, sorry.
Stop you really quick. Now, during the paternity testing, did you have to communicate back and forth with Clayton regarding results or what was going on?
I tried to, and he would not respond to me about it.
And is that when he went online?
What was that?
And is that when he went online to indicate what the results were?
Yes. Yeah, and that's what...
There were no results?
Yeah, there were no results. Testing was ongoing.
Is it still ongoing?
Yes, it is still ongoing. They just needed a sample that wasn't so diluted, and so they asked me to come back. I took a test a couple weeks ago. I think it's crazy that Clayton's acting like I somehow intercepted that sample in Tennessee. It ended up I guess, getting stuck in Tennessee and getting delivered in 2 days instead of 1 to the lab, which meant the sample was no good. And then I went today and I gave blood again. But that's my 3rd time giving blood. It's not my fault, at all.
Now, aside from texting or emailing Clayton regarding the pregnancy, the paternity test, this family court case, was there anything else that you had emailed or texted Clayton?
Not a single thing, and he knows that as well.
What about the post online?
Well, that was related to the paternity. I did message him after asking him to take that off when I started getting people telling me to kill myself. And people were posting terrible reviews on my podcast. I was getting horrible messages on my Instagram. I had to deactivate that. And I begged him, please take this down. The results are not back. Here's Brett from Ravgen explaining that that the test results aren't back. You can't be posting this kind of stuff and inciting harassment against me.
And is that because you're understanding Clayton's fans or Clayton's followers were harassing you online?
Yes, and they were naming me in his comments and giving my handle out, my Instagram handle out.
Okay, and those were because of Clayton's posts?
Entirely because of Clayton's post. And then on Reddit, I mean, I can't even go into the what people have said about me on Reddit as a result of his post, which, I'm clearly pregnant, and I, will do anything to prove the paternity. And so it's just all of this information that he's put out there that's false has been so upsetting to me.
But you had reached out to Clayton regarding those posts and asked him to take it down after you were receiving these harassing emails or messages online?
Correct.
Okay. Now, was there a time that you had reached out to somebody who Clayton was going to speak, somewhere where he was going to speak?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
5 minutes.
And what was that?
I contacted them because I was feeling suicidal as a result of Clayton's actions towards me, and I'm sure, I'm hormonal because of the pregnancy and not knowing, what the plan is going to be going forward, but I felt that it's strongly in my heart this was not to harass Clayton. I just felt that if Clayton was the kind of person who would not respond to me knowing I was pregnant with his kids, then there's no way Clayton would respond to somebody else who reached out to him saying they were in need and that they were suicidal.
Okay, let me just stop you. We have about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So, Clayton had brought up instances of other cases that you're involved with other individuals. Is the current case that you're involved with Clayton with similar to any of the other cases that he's brought up in his exhibit?
No.
Okay. And that's an ongoing case, is that right?
Correct. It's been going on for 2 years, and that attorney dropped out of the case. There was never an ultrasound presented to him. I was too early on, but the pregnancy was proven to him by a nurse practitioner, by tons of medical results. I can prove that all day long.
Now, in the communication that you had with Clayton, were you ever trying to threaten him or harass him or annoy him in any way?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I would think he would want a parenting plan as well.
Okay. Your intent during this time was essentially to get the parenting plan then and get this all figured out before the unborn children are born.
Yes, because I'm panicked about having twins and not knowing if he's even going to, he specifically put on that he didn't want to even be on the birth certificate and didn't want to give them his last name. So.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. So I'll go ahead and stop here, and then we'll pick up, because you may have some questions still for her about the exhibits. If we're going to pick up again, I'm assuming that there may be some exhibits that you want to.
Oh, yeah. When I said no further questions, I just meant.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, I understood. That's right. We're going to take a break now, and then, Mr. Eckert, you have the exhibits now in your possession. Is that correct? Obviously not. The-
Flash drives.
So you have the flash drive, so you can do that to see the exhibits, correct?
Yes, are we going to do this today? I would like to come to a conclusion today as far as how we're going to proceed.
Well, I don't think that we're going to be able to finish it today, because we're already at our time, past our time really, for doing the trial, and we haven't done their exhibits yet. And so I want to give them an opportunity to do their exhibits, but I can try to find another date to see if we can come back and finish up the hearing.
I have the ability to ask questions to her.
You will once she gets done with her testimony, so I'm going to give them still time to do some of their exhibits and questions, but then you'll be able to cross-examine her.
Okay. Is there a way to request for her to cease conversation via all avenues until this next hearing?
I'm not sure what that's doing. I don't know if there's a legal method for that.
I would just ask or make a request that she stop sending me messages. I don't think that it's maybe it's just, I don't think it's worthwhile. It's not necessary considering we're under in a court case. I don't know if I can request that, but I would like to request that so that we can avoid having conversations outside of the court anyways.
Well, Your Honor, they have an active family court case right now, and this type of hearing specifically is for what Mr. Eckert is asking for. That's why we're doing this hearing, and I don't think the court can order that my client, not saying that she would, but I'm just indicating that I don't think that this court can order her not to have any contact with them at this point. They have a family law case together. We actually have another protective order hearing tomorrow. I don't think the court has the power to do that, and I don't think that request should be granted.
Yeah, I don't know that I can do that. I can do either the 26th to Thursday at 11, or I can do the 2nd at 11.
26th of this week, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting the 2nd, if that's possible. I do have a criminal trial at 8:30 in the morning on the 26th that should be going at least all morning. That's out of the Phoenix Municipal Court.
Does November 2nd to 11 work for everybody then?
I would request the 26th. I don't want to drag this out longer than it needs to go. So if I would like to ask for the 26th so that we can forward in a quicker manner.
And I understand. I just think if he has a court conflict, I'm not sure of the setup. I know he has a court conflict.
Is it possible, like, if the court has time in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock on that Thursday night?
I don't have another injunction trial that afternoon.
I guess my question is would your court case not have an end time? And if so, what is that time?
Well, usually, just like in a criminal trial, it's usually 3 hours. So, it'd be kind of like this. So, the court's saying 11. Is that what you said, Your Honor, like 11 or 11:30? And
11 is when I can do it.
Yeah, and driving from Phoenix to here, that's going to be a minimum of 30 minutes. I wouldn't be able to finish that.
Driving from Phoenix.
Yeah, but even assuming they start at 8:30?
Okay, so it's supposed to, I'm not trying to be difficult. So you're saying it's supposed to start at 8:30?
That's correct.
And it's scheduled for a 3-hour time. This had a time limit on it, so it's scheduled for 3 hours. Yes. Okay. Oh.
All right, so November 2nd at 11. We're going to pick up with the exhibits, defense exhibits, and then we'll allow Mr. Eckert to do cross-examination, and then Mr. Eckert, you would have the opportunity to present any rebuttal testimony if you felt that was needed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get an email for that, or just confirming 11? Okay, thank you. I take these exhibits with me, or?
You can take your copies of them. We have the court's exhibits, so.
Okay.
USB is the same one.
Okay. You got mine.
I did. I didn't through the court case, yes. Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure I got to the end of it and that I wasn't going to cut Meg out of anything that she added to the video. Salty Buddha, thank you for hanging. 1:15 a.m. is awfully late. So thank you for hanging for the whole video. Much, much, much appreciated. MG Law. So yeah, we read a little bit of it. I was trying to not step on Meg's video too much since I'm just subbing for her, but we read it, and I don't have a timestamp for that, but we did read it just a bit, and I showed it on the screen. So yeah, that's bonkers. My comment was that you know, regardless of you know, the text came from her, so regardless of whether or not the content of them was real or not, she knew what they said when she sent them. So that's on her. I'm not surprised. Again, if you have to jump through that many hoops to prove that you're right, something's not right. Hey, Mama Gemma, sorry I didn't get to type in the chat hello to you, but I saw that you came in right there at the end and just wanted to give you a hello. Like I said, I hope I did okay on this for Meg. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Wow, that was incredible. And I really hope, if nothing else, if I didn't tank her video, that at least she has the super chats to earn from it. Now, the trick will be, hopefully YouTube doesn't take them away, because I think that happens sometimes. But I don't think we broke any rules. I'm just not 100% sure that I clicked the right buttons for her revenue. But thank you guys, Apples, Genji, Claude, Wings, Nikella, everybody, Waki, everybody that gave the super chats, Jola, Donna Barkley, Robert Lloyd, Darcy C, Bruce from Oregon, Apples, Waki with the memberships, Apples with the membership. So huge for Meg, and Tina and Chris Barton. Oh, my peeps are in here. I love it. Jay, the best mod. Thank you. Couldn't have done that without you, that's for sure. And I am going to get off here so that I don't keep everybody any longer than I already have, but can't thank everybody enough. And as soon as I have an update on Meg, I will figure out a way to let you guys know. She did give me the ability to post and stuff on her behalf, so if I find something out, I can likely just go and post an update as a regular post on her channel. So I can't wait for her to come back, though, because, man, this is work. So thank you, guys. Have a good one. Adios.